Hi everyone, welcome to Travel Tutorials from My Happy Suitcase. In today's tutorial we're going to talk about tax-free shopping. VAT free shopping is another name for it. Whenever you're traveling abroad, you might be eligible to get your taxes back. So just like when you buy things at home, you pay a sales tax. When you travel abroad, you pay a sales tax. But because you are a visitor, you're a tourist, you may be eligible to get that tax back. And depending on how much you spend, it can really add up. So you can decide based on how much you spent if it's really worth your effort or not, but it certainly can make a difference should you be someone who's done a lot of shopping. Now, different countries have different rules in terms of the tax back policies and minimums and maximum thresholds. So in some cases, you have to spend a minimum amount in order to qualify for tax back. And some of it is based store by store. One store, it might be a $50 or £50, €50 minimum spend. Another store, it might be 100. It might be on any purchase. So you do have to ask. Any store that participates in the tax-free scheme, well, it should have a little sticker on the window of the store. If you don't see it, you can certainly just ask, do you offer tax-free shopping, duty-free shopping, VAT-free shopping? Do you offer that? And if they do, they can tell you what's the minimum amount you need to spend in order to qualify. So there's a couple different ways that it'll work. So some places, they'll just give you this really long receipt. It looks like pages and pages of paper with your purchase. And you have to fill out that receipt. You'll see a place for you to put your name, your address, your passport number, expiration date, how you want to be refunded, whether it's cash or credit card. As a side note, I always recommend credit card. You'll get a better exchange rate if you get your refund by credit card. So you fill that out. Other places will actually automate that and they'll do it for you. However, for that to work, you have to have this with you. If you don't have your passport, they won't process your VAT refund or paperwork. And in some cases, you have to go to a special location in the shop. So some retailers, again, they'll do it right at the register. They'll give you this nice long receipt. In other places, I know, for example, I was in Selfridges in London. They have an actual separate kind of customer lounge for VAT shopping. So you do all of your shopping, then you go to the lounge, you take your passport, all of your receipts, they put all the information into the computer, and then they kind of spit out your tax-free form that you can take with you to the airport. So in whichever method they give you, you have to have all your paperwork with you when you go to the airport. In some places, I was in Ireland and I thought this was genius actually. You get one of these little tax-free shopping cards. And so instead of having these miles and miles of paperwork and lots of paper forms that you have to fill out, the same information over and over and over again, you get one of these cards. You go online and you register it, and you fill in all the information online. Your passport number, your address, all the things you would put on that piece of paper. You activate your card. And then every time you shop, you hand this to the clerk. They swipe it through the machine and it loads the information onto your card. And so then when you go to the airport, everything's already done and taken care of and it's on this card. You don't have to sit and fill out hours and hours of tax-free paperwork. So this is fabulous, and I hope more and more places will adopt this sort of system. So when it comes to actually getting your money back, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you have all that paperwork combined. Oh, I should mention one other thing I forgot to say. When you're shopping and you're using a credit card, it's often going to ask you, do you want to process that transaction in the local currency or in your local currency? So in my case, US dollars. The terminal will give you the option to say, euros or US dollars. You always want to select the local currency. If you select your currency, in my case US dollars, I get a worse rate. The store tacks on a little percentage that they get to keep, and I get a worse exchange rate. Whereas if I choose the local currency, it's just a straight transaction through my bank or my credit card company, and I get the best rate, and there's not a little cut of it going to the store. So always make sure that you select the local currency when you give that option. Okay, so what you do when you actually want to get your refund. You're going to look for VAT refund signs. They're usually pretty clearly marked. They're typically in red, white, and blue, and there's typically a desk before you go through security, but there's also typically a desk after security. I recommend you go to the one before security, and here's why. You may be asked to produce the items that you've purchased as proof that you've purchased them. They want to see what you've actually purchased. And so if you have items that maybe don't fit in your carry-on bag and have to go in your suitcase, if you've checked your bag first, then go to the VAT desk and they ask to see those items and you don't have them because they've just gone through baggage, they can deny your refund for that. So if all of your items fit into the carry-on, great, you can do it on the other side. Typically it's less busy on the other side. But if your items don't fit into your carry-on bag, then I would allow some extra time before you get to the airport. Go to the VAT desk first, get your refund sorted out, then go check your bags. Once you get to the VAT refund area, I've seen a couple different ways that these get processed. Kind of the traditional way is you wait in a line, get called up to a desk, you produce all those mounds and mounds of receipts and paperwork that you've been given by the store along with your passport and your credit card. They'll stamp the receipts, they'll take them from you, they'll run your card through, and your credit card will get the refund posted. They say up to 6 weeks. I found most of the time I usually get that refund within about 2 weeks. So they'll take all that paperwork from you and they'll just give you a little receipt. You should see that on your statement in a couple of weeks. Some airports have nicely automated their VAT refund desk, so there's little kiosks that you go to, and you scan your passport, and you can actually just drop your receipts in a little slot, and they'll process them from there. If you happen to have done what I did when you got this little card and had all of your information on this card, again, you can either go up to a desk and have someone do it, or they have these computer terminals, and essentially all you do is you swipe it, and it just processes it right then and there. So you swipe the card, because all of your receipts are already preloaded onto it and all of your information are there. You swipe it. I think I had to swipe my credit card as well so that it had the number to refund it to, but that was it. So I didn't have to deal with these crazy amounts of receipts and paperwork. So that was pretty quick and efficient. If you have just gotten stamped and they didn't take your receipts for some reason, there usually are drop boxes, both before and after security. So you put all your receipts in the envelope, seal it up, drop it in the box. One other thing to be aware is there's two different companies that process tax-free. So there's Global, and then there's another one that's just escaped me just now. So you want to make sure you have the right paperwork for the right tax-free company. The other thing to keep in mind is you do this at your airport of departure. So if you are traveling around within Europe, for example, you don't do it at every airport. You're only going to do this at the airport that is your final departure airport. So when you're getting ready to leave to go back home, wherever home is, that's the airport at which you want to drop your paperwork. Now, if you've traveled between countries that are not part of the same zone, say you've gone to somewhere in Europe, and then kind of post-Brexit you're in the UK, those will be separate. So it's wherever, if you're in the European Union, you want to do it from the last point of departure out of the European Union. If you try to do it prematurely, they'll just tell you, this isn't the right time. Do it when you're ready to leave. All right, well, hopefully this has been helpful to learn a bit more about tax-free shopping. For other useful tips and information, you can check out some other tutorials on this YouTube channel or visit myhappysuitcase.com. Thanks for watching.